Perfection is something that I've always struggled with. Ever since I can remember, I've always been like the biggest girl in my class. And as much as I tried not to let that bother me, it always ended up bothering me because you look around and you see all these other girls that can eat pretty much what they want to eat and not gain a pound. And for me, it wasn't like that. I was always self-conscious of myself. I always struggled with that. And I think the root cause of that would have to be my parents' divorce. They got divorced the summer before my kindergarten year. And I've always been to a Christian school ever since kindergarten. I've always been a Christian ever since I can remember. I went to church up until kindergarten when my parents divorced. My dad didn't care about going, and my mom worked on Sunday, so I never went. And then in 7th grade, I started going again. But even though I was going to church, there was still stuff that I struggled with. I struggled with an eating disorder from middle school. I still struggle with it now. It's hard not to look in the mirror and think of yourself as imperfect and not wanting to do something about it. And for me, an eating disorder was something to do about it. If I didn't feel skinny enough one day, I would purge, I would binge, I would do anything just to make myself feel skinny. And looking back on it now, that's probably not what I should have been doing, and I know it's not, because I always had this standard of perfection that I couldn't meet, that nobody could meet. And I had to step back and realize that the only person that was ever going to live up to that standard that I had for myself was God. And I'm not God, I'm not perfect, so I was never going to be able to live up to that standard. Along with my eating disorder, I also started cutting myself because I didn't feel worthy, I felt inadequate. And then cutting got too much for me, and people started realizing that I had scars. So I started intentionally burning myself, and that was kind of easier to hide because people would ask me, they'd see scars on my arms and they'd be like, "What happened?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I burnt myself with my straightener." And that was plausible because I straightened my hair every day. But what people didn't realize was that I was doing it intentionally because that little bit of pain made me feel better. And I really wished I wouldn't have ever started any of that, but I did, and it's really changed my life forever. And one of the other things that I've struggled with is I've questioned God a whole lot. Like, with my parents' divorce, I'd be like, "Why, God? Why did you do that to me?" I see other people with their parents divorced and it looks so easy, and I know it's not because for me it hasn't been. I go into ball games and your parents not sitting together, one sitting on the other side of the gym and one on the other, and your parents constantly fighting even though they're not together anymore and they still fight, and just all the stuff that came along with that, it really got to me. And then also in 4th grade, my cousin April died from a car accident, and that really affected me too because she was somebody that no matter what, I could always go and talk to her about anything because she understood it and I knew she wouldn't go tell anybody. And God took that away from me, and I was like, "Why, God? Why did you take somebody that important and that special to me away?" I didn't understand it. But one of the verses that really helped me get through that was Jeremiah 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future." And that really spoke to me because I realized that everything that I've been through, that God had a purpose and a plan for it all, and He did not want to hurt me, but He wanted to make me stronger through it all. And that was something that really, really helped me. And I learned to put God first in all of that. To say that it's not all about me. It's not all about how I look. It's not all about me. It's about God and learning to put Him first. So I'm Katherine Kirby, and I'm second.